Welcome to the real journey of the entrepreneur. The journey of any entrepreneur begins with a decision, then writing down your vision, then the execution of that vision. It is not for the faint of heart. It is for those who understand how powerful your mind is and that you can truly create the life that you deserve. It does require a unique formula that includes belief in yourself, a lot of consistency, connecting with an OG, a lot of tears, missing out on a few events and things, and taking a whole lot of risks that will allow you to see your vision and dream come to pass. This journey of the entrepreneur is from the perspective of a wonderful mother, a business owner, whose goal is to break generational barriers and normalize the process of wealth building and financial wellness through entrepreneurship, all while creating a social and give back along the way. I am sharing this journey with you and invite you to share this process with me. Let's do this together. But you have to feel comfortable to own it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? I will always support you.
Thank you.
Well, hey there, good people. We're back. We are back. So I am really excited to welcome you to another episode of The Journey of the Entrepreneur. For those who have been staying in tune as to what we've been doing, we're on season 333, and I'm really excited to share with you more entrepreneurs who have the courageous and who stepped out and decided that they wanted to walk in this space of entrepreneurship. My name is Anita Pierce, and I am the host and producer of The Journey of the Entrepreneurship. We are excited because we get to interview courageous and everyday entrepreneurs who are really setting and believing and also creating wealth for themselves and also for their families. But the beauty about what we discuss here on this show is that we really are, picking apart what entrepreneurship really looks like for each of us. Yes, it is a space where we can share and learn and grow. And we are really excited to have you join us today. But as you know, I always like to say, I have the best seat in the house. Why? Because this allows for entrepreneurs to be able to share their experiences, but I also get to really learn from those who have stepped into this space of entrepreneurship, business ownership. And guess what? My next guest is no different. I have the distinct honor of interviewing a master electrician. And I'm going to tell you, as a woman who is somewhat handy, I was thoroughly impressed to understand what that really means. Not just an electrician, because, when you, excel in this trade, there are a variety of different spaces that, can allow you to say that you are the master of something, and this is one of them. And so I have the honor of bringing to the table the owner of Goodbee Controls. And I'm not going to say anything else. I'm just going to bring my guests on. Hello.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, right? I know, afternoon. It is so good to have you join the journey of the entrepreneur, to be able to share your experience with this audience. So
thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining. So please tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about what you do.
All right. Well, my name is Andre Goodbee. I am the CEO of Goodbee Controls and Electrical Services. We've been in business for about 3 years now. It'll be 3 years going into January of 2023. And it's been a very daunting task, as your intro has alluded to. I think that, going into business for self is one of those things that you're sure of it, but at the same time, you're unsure, because sometimes people don't want to step out on faith. And, some people are always, kind of, reserved on thinking of how they can become an entrepreneur or they don't think that their idea could be great or grand as it is. And I think that, when you start coming into this space, I think everybody's idea is great and everybody's idea is grand. And I just think that, when you start stepping out, it's kind of figure out where's your niche and kind of just going into that position and going forward.
So I'm going to ask you, how did you get started?
Well, so I've been studying the skill of electricity for over 25 years now. I started in high school, which was in I would say my sophomore year, approximately. But prior to that, I actually had a neighbor of mine whose name is Joe Bevins, who recently transitioned. But he was the one who actually put the spark into my head about construction in general. So at that point, he was saying that if you always want to have a way to make money, jump into a trade. And at that moment in time, and I think it was 1995, the highest tradesman in that particular time was electrician. So I just was like, all right, let's do electricity. And Albany High actually had a vocational school that allowed me to actually go in my junior year and take 2 years of electricity and excuse me. And they gave me a certification at the end of those 2 years. So what's is funny about that particular certification, there were actually adults in the same program who were actually taking the same courses as we were teenagers who was also looking to get that certification as well. So beyond being a teenager, the adults were actually coming into our program and actually learning the trade as well. So I think that what we learned at that age, at 15, 16, 17, that's actual adult acumen and knowledge that we were actually receiving at that particular point in time. And that's kind of like how that initiated. That's how my spark interest, and it seemed very easy to me in the beginning as far as the math is concerned, because I wasn't the greatest at math. So I actually, doing course 2 and course 1 in algebra, I wasn't that good. But I found out that I was very good in electrical math. Ironic, right? But it was still based on algebra, but it seemed like it was more easier dealing with those particular numbers. And that made it a lot more wholesome for myself and going on to becoming more knowledgeable of the trade.
So there's a lot that you said in that intro. So first of all, you've been in this space for more than like 25 years, right? That's the first thing. The second thing is that you started as a if you said about 15, that's what, like teenage years, years, I think.
Yes.
And then the other thing that I learned is that it's almost like it's like you self-taught yourself some of the things that you were learning as to become a master at your craft right now.
I would say yes and no. I think, going through the high school, it was just the basic fundamentals. And I think that once I got out of high school, I went to Hudson Valley Community College, and that's when I furthered my education. I got my 2-year degree in Hudson Valley in electrical construction and maintenance, which in term is a matriculated curriculum, right? So matriculated means all your courses are based on that particular subject of your choosing. So, everything that I learned within those 2 years was all electrical. Everything. I didn't have an opportunity to take Psych 101 or do any business courses or anything like that. So, going into the community, I was a little bit upset at that point, at that part, but at the end of the day, we still had to get done what we needed to get done. But so I just think those 2 years within those, and the other 2 years within high school, that really showed me a lot, and that allowed me to learn, just practice on my own, as far as just doing little outlets here and there, and putting lights up in my mom's house and things of that nature. So as far as being self-taught, I did start teaching self, at home first, right? Learning how to change lights and things of that nature.
But then you decided to go into business completely for yourself, right? In the midst of a pandemic, because you said 3 years ago, and we are in year three of
Yes.
this whole pandemic. So describe, why did you decide during the midst of world chaos to open up a business?
Well, I think that I had a few things going for me. So um, in that midst, I was working for the IBEW, International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. I started doing that in 2008, and when you're going into that program, it's an apprenticeship program, right? It's a 5-year apprenticeship program. So I did my 5 years, got out 2013 or what have you. They had a couple major projects up here, Global Foundries, if you're familiar with that, which are manufacturers of chips and everything. So that was one of the biggest contracts, biggest jobs that they had in the area in the past 5 or 6 years, right? So I worked there, and it was fun. It was great. I learned a lot. So being in the union, one of the things is with the union, it's a best part-time job a kid can have, right? Because you're only working probably 6 months out of the year in total, right? So you're on 6 months, you're off the other 6 months. Me, I never was the one to look for handouts or anything like that. So, the motor that I have is, I want to do for self, and I don't need any handouts. I'm able to get what I want and obtain what I want. So I always had jobs. I always worked. You know, so having a job where you're working 6 months and then you're not working, it was just like, okay. And then they kind of get you in that system, the perpetual system, and it's just like, all right. And you starting to see what it is, what things really is. And it's just a basic, it's a wheel, it's a hamster wheel. And the place, I mean, to each his own, but just for me personally, I just didn't see, I didn't see anything else coming out of it. And certain things that I wanted wasn't being, so for instance, like being a foreman, I've seen a lot of my cohorts become foremen and things of that nature. And when it was time for my time to become a foreman or be able to run a crew or what have you, that never happened. I wasn't allowed or given the opportunity to run a crew. And I know other electricians who were, I felt that I was more a better employee than some people. I just felt that I could do a lot better, right? And other opportunities were given to other people except for myself. So I was kind of fed up with the nonsense, and I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna just start kind of looking into doing my own thing. And that's kind of like when I went to the library, Albany Public Library, just in the midst of working. I was laid off possibly, and I seen a flyer that had, it was an entrepreneurial boot camp that was given through the Capital Region Chamber of Commerce. And I happened to look at it, and they was like, yo, if you have any ideas, becoming an entrepreneur, so on and so forth, check us out. And, I looked at it, called them up. And after that, and I found out what it cost to get in the program. And I took the program from there. And then after that, the rest is history, basically. And I've been on my own ever since. And it's actually been a year. Last Wednesday is the last time I actually worked for somebody else. It's been a whole
Wow.
year. Yes.
So, first of all, congratulations.
Yes. Thank you. It's tough figuring that part out, because that's like when I first started, I'm trying to figure out how to separate. I'm trying to figure out how do I separate from the everyday, what you're used to, and then to becoming an entrepreneur and becoming what you always envisioned yourself becoming. And that can be a scary sight. It can be scary. So as you were saying in your intro, things are very daunting, and some people don't know where the next meal is coming from.
Right. And the truth is, and I just wanna pause in the fact that you are acknowledging that it's not easy, right? Because if we were to look at all of what's being actively promoted in the space of entrepreneurship or being a business owner, that the overnight success happens, that you don't have any concerns about how you're going to feed your family, B, and just figuring out, sometimes that you're going from either once a week being paid bi-weekly to now monthly, and sometimes there is a longer delay, so you have to really be savvy in your resources to hold you over. So you have to be responsible. So I want to just appreciate the fact that you elevated that again, and speaking from the male perspective, because hearing it sometimes just from a woman's perspective can be, sometimes perceived that we're whining, but it's really challenging. But also, I want to do a comment and that you stated about really working on how you visualize yourself, and that requires courage, guts, and also getting busy and getting to work.
I agree. I agree.
So I'm curious about your startup costs. So you transitioned from, you know, being in this union, going into this boot camp. What did your specific startup costs look like for yourself as a new business owner?
So the boot camp was $600. So that was the first initial payment that I made to invest in self, was $600. And I think, we spend $600 on most ridiculous, far less, frivolous things that we can think of. So my thing is, go always get that $600 back. And I think putting that $600 in is just a way to show you really had to invest in yourself. That's one of my biggest advices that I've learned and that I've seen actually work. Right, like you really have to invest in yourself, and that's why people say, you go to college and yeah, you got to pay for that. That's part of investing. And your parents, they're invest. That's an investment. So your parents are putting money into you so you can go get education, so that you can come back and your parents get a little ROI. You can send them off in the villa somewhere or something like that, right? But so I think that you know, being able to have the funds readily available in the first part is what you need, and that was the first major investment. Secondly, the next investment basically was to get your INC or your LLC, and that was $225. And if you want to go do the lawyer route, you can do the lawyer route. If you want to, you can pay a lawyer to have somebody do it, or you can go do it yourself, bootstrap, and go down to your One Commerce Plaza and get your information and set it up that way. I had two experiences. First one experience I did was with a not-for-profit organization, and we bootstrapped and we went down there to One Commerce Plaza and we got our information, we filled it out normal way. The second way, what I did for Goodbee Controls is I actually hired a lawyer to get it done, because when you get into business, time is money. So you got to make sure you have the available amount of time to do other things. So some things you're going to be subbing out, and some things that you can do on your own. So overall, to get started, I would say out of pocket probably $1,000 just to get started. But that's your investment, right? That's with anything. But I think that was the best investment that I ever made in my life.
So what about, since you are an electrician, master electrician, are you required immediately to have like different type of tools or anything like that in the initial phase?
Well, if you're an electrician, I will hope you have tools. I will hope so. So I've been doing this over the years, so luckily I still have all my tools that I have when I was in the union and everything. But as you grow, you start to think of growth. So you start buying bigger tools that can get jobs done a lot faster, such as power drills, hammer drills, PVC blankets, hacksaws, saws, just things that make the job and life a lot easier. But as far as just tools coming in, the biggest tool I would say in electrical is your brain.
Mm.
That's first and foremost. I think with a lot of other with a lot of the other trades, I think being an electrician requires a lot more brain power than a lot of the other trades. Not saying that one is better than the other, but when you come into electrical, it's very dangerous. You have to be very strategic and calculating different loads and currents and that electrical volts, that wattage and things of that nature. So it has to be you have to sometimes before you even pick up a tool, everything is calculations,
Mm.
right? Measurements before you even touch anything. And I've seen men do that, right? I've seen women do that. Just going here, do just analyze and taking measurements here, boom, boom, boom. So a lot has to do with math, and that's why coming in, like I said, I wasn't that good in math. Like I
Mm.
failed course two, one of the first courses I ever failed in my life, and I was very discouraged at the time. And you know, so coming back, I had to face my fears. You know what I mean? So to actually get into the IBEW, I had to. You had to take a test. You had to take an aptitude test. So I failed twice. That's what a lot of people don't know. I failed the aptitude test twice, and I knew the reason why is because of my algebra,
So
right?
why did you keep going? What
Because
made you keep going?
I knew that's what I wanted to do,
Mm.
right? So it was either I was working at the time, and I know I'm all over the place, but it's all going to come together. But I was working at Albany County. It was Albany County Wastewater Treatment Facility, and I was a laborer there. And basically, I never thought I'd grow up to be a turd herder. You know what I mean? It's basically what it is at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So I was just like, this can't be life. I
Mm.
didn't think about it like that. I'm like, so as I was working there, I was taking these tests to get in the union. And so I failed the first time. I was like, all right. So every 6 months, they'll allow you to take it again.
Mm.
So I failed the first time. I was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna go grab a tutor. Got a tutor. Had to seek out a tutor. Started getting tutoring lessons. And this time I'm probably like 28, 29. So I'm still having to learn algebra at 28, 29, trying to figure this out to get to where I want to go
Mm.
at the end of the day, right? So I'm going here, I'm taking my test, getting tutored, and I failed the first time, failed the second time, and I was like, all right, came to a point where I was like, this is it right here. I'm either gonna pass this test or I'm gonna pass this test. I had two tests coming up. One was for an operator, and one was for the operator for the wastewater facility, and the other one was to get into the union. So they're about a week apart. I took them both. I studied for both, and the one that I passed happened to be the IBW
Mm.
on the third shot.
Wow.
And
Wow.
so, that's how I know to keep, I was just like, you know what, this is it. Third time's a charm, right, Anita?
Right.
Right. So third time was the charm. And that's how I actually got in. And then fast forward, and basically here we are today. And I think like the union was great. I did my 5 years there. I got my journeyman card, which ultimately can never be taken away. That's 5 years of my work and my time and hours that I put in and expertise. And so now, like I said, with the jobs now, not being able to work 4 years or 2 years and 3 years at a time, and you have a family, I can't go for that. So I just say if I'm gonna do it, I might as well do it myself. You know what I mean? Because I can
Mm.
work the whole year and still be able to make decent money. So
And that's interesting. One, thank you for elaborating on your story, right? Because I think it's important that you share your story. But it's really interesting that you mentioned um, that you just wasn't um, gonna give up on this process that you started. The other thing I also heard was the fact that you asked for help, right? To get tutoring, and you wanted this because you knew that there was some sort of an opportunity for you long term. But going into business for yourself, in the middle of a pandemic is still awesome, right? And I cannot underestimate that. That is so awesome that you had the courage to, say, I want to do this for myself, which leads me to this question about creating a pipeline, right? So I heard that you got your started as a teen. How do you think, or what is the best way to engage our young people that this is a necessary skill that doesn't die out with you?
Get us in the schools, right? You gotta let us talk to the children. That's the only way, because a lot of them don't know. They don't know that there's an opportunity out there that can be life changing for yourself and your family, right? So I think that one of the biggest things is, exposure. You got to expose kids to new things every day, every chance that you get it, you have a chance to. Like I said, I didn't know. I knew that lights turn on. I could plug a microwave in, the stove in, but I didn't know anything, right, until I was 15. Right, I didn't have an idea what electricity was, but nobody was in the school. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you have who's in the schools? You got policemen, firefighters, right? When I was coming up, that's what I seen. The crime dog say no to drugs, McGruff. You know what I mean? Like these were the people who was in school. No electrician came to school. Hey, you can be an electrician, or you can be a carpenter. You can build bricks, or you can build houses. Nobody. And still, like I said, and still at 15, nobody. So the thing is how do we get into the schools and have people such as myself and others come in and speak about it at a younger age? I think just having a conversation is the first point, because that's the seed. That's the seed, right? Like when my neighbor spoke on it, that's the seed. And he was like, "Yo, you want to have a way to always make money. If you can't go, if you get your job and they fire you, they're always going to be building. They're always going to be construction. So find something in that." Like I said, and my research led me to electricity.
Wow. And so, where do you get your business from? Is it where do you get your clients from?
The clients come from all over, all walks of life. Some come from my website. Some come from word of mouth. My family has a very big name in Albany. The last name Goodbee. My grandfather did a lot of. He was a prize fighter, and he also did a lot of community work in the '60s and '70s out here in Albany. My mother also is heavy in politics, so she was always around keeping the name strong. So a lot of people hear the name, they know that we come from a good stock, and a lot of word of mouth. Be surprised how many people know my family and my uncles and my aunts, and it's just they lay the foundation, for myself and my cousins and the generations to come. And that's how we're able to draw a business. And not only that, and then also the footwork that I've been putting in as well, just networking, going to events, meeting people, handing out cards, cold calls, and just networking, just continuously networking.
So, if someone was interested in following in your footsteps at this point, what are three things that you can offer them?
I would say the biggest thing is advice. If somebody wants to learn how to become an electrician, I would say advice. You can call, you can reach out to me. I'm always accessible. Phone, email, Instagram, Facebook. All the platforms are here if you wanted to reach out and talk and discuss the routes I've taken, or just to get some insight on anything. Where I'm an open book, and I think that it's better when we do that, because I think a lot of people collaborating is very key, and sharing information is very vital to what we do. And I think that once we have an open dialogue and people are, not afraid to approach people and ask and talk and ask for what they want. Um, I may not have the answers, but we can definitely find somebody who can get you the answers, and that's what we're in the business of doing.
And so I want to share your information and resources at the bottom of the screen. If you're looking for a master electrician, I just think that's so phenomenal. Like, I don't want to overlook that. It may not be a big deal to you, but I don't know a master electrician. I know electricians, but they do not have the designation of being the master in their craft. So I want to shout you out for
Thank you.
taking time out of your schedule to come and join the real journey of the entrepreneur. Please, if you are in the New York area, specifically in Albany capital region, please shout out goodbeecontrols.com, or you can do 518-209-3826. Also on social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and also LinkedIn. So you won't get away just yet. I like to wrap up the journey of the entrepreneur with some fun questions, right? Fun questions, one word answers that usually just kind of close us out and just have us go on. So, ready?
Yes.
Okay. So, do you prefer ice cream or smoothies?
Jeez. Oh my God. Oh, this is a tough one right here. Oh, I had some ice cream last night.
Right.
Jeez. Oh my God. Let's go with jeez. Oh man, this is a tough one, Anita. Smoothies.
With hesitation, smoothies. So, pizza or burgers?
Pizza.
Sneakers or hard bottoms?
Let's go with sneakers.
In 3 years, what will the community that you are serving look like?
It will look healthier.
And there you have it. See, that was the first one word that I got.
All right, that's exciting.
That's exciting. And the legacy that you would like to leave for yourself and your family.
Um, I, you know, I love my family, and I was do anything to leave something here for them, and that you know, I always had them in mind.
Awesome. So, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule. It has been amazing interviewing you. But I also forgot to share how we met. We had an opportunity to connect at the MWBE conference that was held in Albany. And for those who are wondering about ways to network, because again, I am not an electrician, I am a business consultant, but there's always a need to add other businesses to the list of referral sources. So if you are interested in getting some electrical work, please check out Goodbee Controls. Call, direct message on Instagram, and also email as well. So, Andre, I really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule. And I'm going to say so long and don't be a stranger.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate the opportunity, and look forward to working with you some more.
Okay, awesome. Bye bye. So, there you have it. There you have it. Another episode of the Journey of the Entrepreneur, where we are really focusing on different ways to enter pathways into entrepreneurship. Um, I think that that was a great story because, if you listen to the entire process, it was one starting out really young, right? And also developing a positive trade that leads to where Mr. Goodbee is now in terms of owning his own space. And that's, again, not for the faint of heart. But I want to have you share, like, if there is an opportunity or need for you to have electrical services, please check out. Link is there. But I also want to share that if your business is being interested being featured by being interviewed or by an ad space, please call us at 718-691-8966, or you can email us at info@11375.com. I also want to share that there are a number of opportunities to be connected as small business owners. You have a number of chambers that exist within the 5 boroughs, upstate New York. There are many. So please, if you are a small business and you're thinking about transitioning into these spaces, there are definitely a number of opportunities for you to take advantage of. So on that note, I really want to thank you all for taking time out of your day to join the journey of the entrepreneur. We are really excited that you have taken time out of your schedule to join us. Please don't forget to like, share, and follow us on 11375. We are on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and just trying to do our best to be out there on the social platforms. So stay tuned. Take good care. Welcome to 11375. My name is Anita Pierce, and I am the owner of a New York-based MWBE certified business consultancy. We focus on business education for startups, and we also connect mid-sized companies, corporations, community-based organizations, and government agencies to foster affordable solutions that will allow your business to flourish. We elevate the awareness of our communities with regards to financial, mental, and also economic wellness. Some of our services include project management, training and facilitation, stakeholder engagement, and also advocacy within the business community. If you're interested in some of our services or all of them, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We're on all of the social platforms at 11375, or you can check us out at our website at 11375.com. We look forward to supporting you and your business goals.